Alright guys, welcome back to the Taj Mahal. It's Sunday, May the 6th, just coming up to 2 p.m. And we're happy to be back in the garage after being away in Vancouver for a week. So it was nice to spend some time on the west coast. It was very busy though, and we had a little bit of difficulty getting back into Toronto. We had a bad storm here on Saturday evening, lots of wind and lots of downed trees and power outages, so my flight was delayed. I didn't get in till early Sunday morning, so 4 a.m. So anyway, this is the first day we've been out here since we've been back, and we are just awaiting a special delivery. Should be here in about a half an hour or so, and it's for this TR250 project, and I've been waiting on this for some time, and it's finally arriving. So I will bring you back when the surprise arrives. In the meantime, to keep myself busy, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on these trailing arms, and what I want to do is I want to relocate these trailing arms back on the frame, and I want to do that so I can have them swing up, and I want to situate this bump stop properly before I weld it in fully. So in order to do that, I've got a brand new bushing kit to install right here in those trailing arms, so we'll do that. And I believe I found the trailing arm hardware. Yes, I did, right there, when I was going through my bins before I left for my trip to Vancouver. So we'll play around with those trailing arms while we're waiting for our surprise. So I've elected to use two-piece polyurethane bushings in these trailing arms, and you could use the stock rubber if you wanted to, although what I hear is that the stock rubber ones being made in China, they degrade pretty quickly nowadays. So you also have some other options. You can go to Nylotron bushings if you wanted to. I've got the urethane ones in the rear of my TR6, and they seem to work just fine. So we're going to be using these. As I'd mentioned, they are a two-piece bushing, whereas the stock ones are a one-piece. So we'll just go ahead, and these should easily, I'm not sure, but they easily fit in like that. So that's much easier than struggling with the old rubber ones that you either need a pusher or a puller to get in. So that is certainly much easier. This one needs a little more persuasion. We'll get the rubber mallet and just tap that in place. There we go. Bushings installed. That was easy. Alright guys, the surprise has arrived in the garage, and it's going to be a little bit boring for you because I don't intend on unpacking it. So this is the Surrey top for this TR250 project of mine, and I had this on the list over here, Surrey top fitting. So we'll get to that at some point, but it did arrive. I might unpack the end of this just to make sure that the glass is not broken and that it arrived in good condition. But other than that, we're happy to have received it. Been waiting a while for it. So another piece to the puzzle. And I think this car is going to look absolutely fantastic with this top installed. So if anybody doesn't know what a Surrey top is, it's glass back. So it's a kind of like a Targa roof, you can call it, for like something like the old Porsche 911s had. So basically a glass rear section, and then you've got a choice of a hard section for the center section, which is in the larger box here, or you can have a soft section. And so this is a nice canvas, black canvas section that we have for this car. It's an upgraded canvas versus a vinyl, so that's going to look good installed in the car as well. Right now the Surrey top is in white, but it will be painted the royal blue that this car will be in the end. So anyway, there is the surprise. Back to work. Alright, we finally got the trailing arms attached back to their pivot points on the frame, and we're just about to lift the trailing arm to see where it contacts this bump stop here. I don't have the buffer cone on, but I'm pretty sure I can do this without this, so here we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but it's a little off. So we are going to detach that bump stop, and we're going to move it square over where the snubber is going to hit. So like I said, we just got this tacked in here in a couple spots, so we'll grind down those tacks. We'll find out the proper location for this area, or for this bump stop to hit, and we will weld that in solid. So we're going to do that now. Okay, we managed to remove the bump stop successfully, so we're going to prime this area in behind since we're not going to see it again after the stop is put back on. We're also going to prime in behind that. So we're going to do that now. We'll throw a couple coats of primer on there, let it dry, then we'll just grind off the area where we need to weld, but at least we'll be covered in behind that box section. Alright, so we've got that located where it needs to be, and as I mentioned, we've primed in behind. Now we've just cleaned the outside edge around that box section so we can actually tack it up there and then finally weld it. So we're going to go ahead and tack it first. We'll do a final fit check after the tack, and then we'll weld it up solid. Alright guys, the driver's side is now complete, so we're going to move on to the passenger side and do the same thing. We'll fit the trailing arm and just do the lift test and make sure that the bump stop is in the right place. I'm hoping that it is, because I've welded that one solid already, so I just want to do a final check before we call that one good. Alright, I think we're just coming up to about 7 p.m. and the passenger side trailing arm is on, and we did the swing test and it does contact exactly where it needs to on the bump stop, so we're good to go on the passenger side. So trailing arm locations are good, so we'll call that job done. And oh yeah, I couldn't resist the urge to put the Surrey backlight on. So it's on the car, just sitting loosely, but you get the picture. There it is. I'm digging it. Alright, see you in a bit. We got a visitor to the garage. Say hello, Les. You haven't seen Les for a little while. He's been stuck in the house. Les has had his hip replaced, and he's just recovering, so he's... I think
Capri fell on top of me.
Yeah, right. He's getting old, so he's got the old Zimmer frame going. Look at that baby. Titanium, I think. Anyway, came over to do a little dancing and check on my progress. He wants to inspect it, so... Anyway.
That's the roof, right?
That's the roof.
What's that called? A bimini?
No. That's a Surrey top.
So the convertible from only goes here.
Yeah.
One little piece.
Center section.
Like a thong, Dave. On a chick. Like a thong, right? If you put your windshield in, the thong goes right here and covers all the goods, which is your skull. In this case. Your side windows.
He's a little punchy. He's still on medication, so you have to forgive him.
I don't know how it is on MGs, but on the trials it's really hard to assemble this because it's hidden.
Not much different.
Yeah. You have to work through such a big hole and assemble the whole unit inside. Anyway, so I did that and did a couple of other things inside. I installed the dash support because when they restored the car, somehow they welded the dash too low, so nobody could install that. So I ended up putting a